The war in Ukraine has dominated global headlines for nearly a year, but a new development could significantly alter its trajectory. The United States is reportedly considering cutting off Ukraine's access to Starlink, the satellite internet service vital to Ukraine's military operations. The reasoning behind this drastic potential move is tied to a major mineral deal between Ukraine and China, which could reshape the balance of power in Europe and beyond. Let's explore the facts and implications of this situation. Now, since the start of the conflict, Starlink, Elon Musk's satellite internet service, has played an essential role in Ukraine's military communication, civilian coordination, and humanitarian efforts. Without it, Ukraine would face major communication disruptions that could severely impact its war strategy. Starlink's role has been described as a lifeline, providing high-speed internet to military units in the front lines, facilitating real-time communications, and enabling logistical support. However, reports suggest that the US government might cut off this critical service. Why? The answer lies in Ukraine's new mineral deal with China, which has raised concerns in Washington. Ukraine is rich in critical minerals including lithium, cobalt, nickel, and rare earth metals, key to manufacturing electronic devices, batteries, and green technologies. As the world shifts towards clean energy, these minerals are in high demand and more valuable than ever. But a new problem looms. China has been securing mining rights in Ukraine, increasing its influence over these valuable resources. China's growing involvement in Ukraine's mining sector has alarmed the US. These minerals are crucial for both technological development and military power, so China's growing control over them could undermine US dominance. With this strategic risk in mind, the US is reportedly considering cutting off Starlink's access as leverage to force Ukraine to rethink its deal with China. From the United States' perspective, Ukraine's mineral deals with China may be crossing a line. The US has already invested heavily in Ukraine's defense, economy, and humanitarian needs. However, if Ukraine proceeds with a deal that strengthens China's hold over these critical resources, it could have far-reaching geopolitical consequences. As of early 2024, the US has provided around $113 billion in aid to Ukraine. For many, particularly those on the right, this massive investment could seem like an unfair burden when compared to the contributions of Europe and other NATO allies. Given the size of the US's commitment, requesting access to Ukraine's mineral wealth in return seems a reasonable demand to safeguard long-term strategic interest. The US has been the biggest financial backer of Ukraine's defense, but other countries have also made significant contributions. Here's a comparison of the aid provided. The United States, $113 billion in total. Military aid, over $70 billion in weapons training, intelligence, and logistics. Economic support, $23 billion to stabilize their economy. Humanitarian aid, over $10 billion for displaced people and other needs. Other contributions include sanctions on Russia, energy aid, and diplomatic efforts. The one that comes second to close to us is the European Union, collectively, gave $70 billion in support, $40 billion for military aid, $30 billion for economic and humanitarian. Germany has given $18 billion, United Kingdom $7.5 billion, Poland $4 billion, France $4 billion, Canada $3.7 billion, Japan $1.5 billion, Australia around $1 billion. After contributing more aid than any other nation, it's not unreasonable for the US to seek something in return. The resources at stake, lithium, cobalt, and nickel, are critical to the future of energy and military technology. Given the magnitude of the US support, asking for access to Ukraine's mineral reserves is a reasonable request. These minerals are vital for the development of electric vehicles, green energy solutions, and military technology. By securing access to these resources, the US could maintain its leadership in technology and global security. While the US has focused on military and financial aid, China has been quietly securing mining rights in Ukraine, particularly for minerals like lithium and cobalt, which are essential for future technologies. China's involvement isn't just economic, it has significant geopolitical implications. If China gains control over Ukraine's mineral wealth, it could reduce US influence in the region and undermine US energy security in the long term. Though cutting off Starlink access might seem extreme, it could serve as a critical lever for the US to ensure that Ukraine protects American interest. If Ukraine continues to pursue deals that strengthen China's control over its resources, it could strain US-Ukraine relations. President Trump may ultimately have to choose between continuing to provide billions in support or securing the US's future energy and defense dominance.